Okay, let's be honest. Whenever you hear the word stocks, you instantly feel like an alien. It seems complicated. It seems risky. It feels like something only stock market pros with expensive tools could ever figure out. And you think, yeah, that's just not for me. But let's get real. If you still don't know about stocks or how to start investing in them, you might be missing out big. Right now, hundreds of millions of people worldwide are into stocks, making insane amounts of money. And most of them are not even Wall Street geniuses. They're regular people who figured out one simple thing that I'm going to break down in this video. So, I'm ripping the curtain off this whole thing. What stocks actually are, why are people obsessed with them, and why understanding this one concept could be life-changing for you. Let's start with the basics. Section 1. What is a stock? A stock is a tiny ownership. That's it. When you buy a stock, you're buying a tiny slice of an actual company. Like a real business with offices and employees and products. Think of it like this. Imagine your favorite company, let's say Netflix, is a gold mine. Literally. A massive mine full of gold. Now, the mine is so big that it gets carved up into millions of tiny parcels of land. Each parcel is a share. When you buy a share, you own one of those parcels. You're a gold mine owner now. And here's the magic. If someone discovers that mine has way more gold than anyone thought, or if the price of gold shoots up, your little parcel of land suddenly becomes way more valuable. You didn't dig anything. You didn't do the work. You just owned a piece, and now it's worth more. Here's a real example. If a company has 10 shares total, and you own 5 of them, you own half the company. But in reality, Apple has over 15 billion shares floating around. So if you own 1 share, you technically own about 0.000000067% of Apple. Now you're probably thinking, wait, why would a company want to chop itself up and hand out pieces to random people? Great question. And the answer is almost embarrassingly straightforward. Capital. Section 2. Why companies sell stocks. So get this. Building a company is expensive, like insanely expensive. You need factories, employees, marketing, research, legal teams, office snacks, and it all adds up fast. So companies have 2 options. Borrow money from a bank and pay it back with interest, or sell pieces of themselves to investors. Obviously, they prefer selling shares. Because here's the best part for them. They never have to pay it back. It's not a loan, it's just money. Free money from investors. Well, not free. They're giving up ownership. But they still get to keep the cash and use it to grow and expand. Let me explain this with an example. Your cousin Sarah wants to open a coffee roastery. Not just any coffee shop, she's importing beans directly from Colombian farms, roasting on site, the whole artisan experience. But there's a snag. She needs $250,000 for the roasting equipment, lease, and first year's inventory. She only has $100,000 from selling her car and emptying her savings. So Sarah gets strategic. She splits her business into 10 equal chunks. Each chunk equals $25,000. She holds onto 4 chunks for herself, since she's investing $100,000. Then she pitches the other 6 chunks to family, friends, and local investors who believe in quality coffee. Enter your Uncle Mike. He's tired of corporate coffee chains. He hears about Sarah's roastery and thinks, finally, someone is doing coffee right. He invests $50,000 for 2 chunks. Now he controls 20% of the business. Sarah secures her $250,000. Dream activated. Jump ahead 3 years. The roastery is absolutely crushing it. The business that started at $250,000, now it's valued at $1 million. Mike's $50,000 investment has been transformed into $200,000. If he cashes out, he pockets a $150,000 gain. That's a 300% payoff. Pretty sweet for believing in his niece's coffee obsession, yeah? That's how stock works. You believe in a company's potential, you get rewarded. But here's where things get a touch dicey. Section 3. The flip side of stocks. What if Sarah's roastery doesn't succeed? The outcome changes quickly. Suppose her larger competitors dominate, or demand for artisan coffee falls during a weak economy. The business value drops to $100,000. Mike's share is now worth $20,000 instead of $50,000. He has lost $30,000, which is 60% of his investment. If the roastery fails completely, his entire investment could be lost. This is the stock market in a nutshell. It's a battlefield of optimism versus reality. Like in 2022, the S&P 500, which tracks the 500 biggest companies in America, dropped 18%. People lost trillions, not millions, trillions, because that's how this works. The line goes up, the line goes down, and your money rides that wave whether you like it or not. But wait, there's a smarter way to make money with dividends. Let's understand what it is. Section 4, make money while you sleep. So, some companies don't just sit there and let you gamble on their value going up. They actually share their profits with you. It's called a dividend. Think of it like rent, but for your ownership. Let's say you own shares in Coca-Cola. Every quarter, they might send you a check or deposit money into your account. Just because you own a piece of them, in 2023, Coca-Cola paid out a dividend of about $1.84 per share. So if you owned 100 shares, you'd get $184 for doing absolutely nothing. You didn't work, you didn't show up, you just owned. Sounds amazing, right? But dividends aren't guaranteed. If the company has a bad year, they can just not pay you. Now look at how you can buy stocks. Section 5. Where do you even buy stocks? Welcome to the stock exchange. It's like a giant marketplace. Except instead of buying tomatoes and bread, you're buying slices of Microsoft and Tesla. The two biggest ones are the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. Other big ones are the London Stock Exchange, Tokyo Stock Exchange, etc. These are where the big dogs play. But how did stocks come into existence? Back in the 1600s, this whole stock thing started with the Dutch East India Company. They had ships traveling the world, trading spices, gold, silk, basically running a global empire. But those voyages were risky and expensive. So they sold shares to regular people in coffee houses and ports. If the ship came back loaded with treasure, everyone got paid. If it sank, well, tough luck. That was the first stock market, and it worked so well that companies have been doing it ever since. Today, you don't need to go to a coffee house or a trading floor. You can buy stocks from your couch in your pajamas using apps like Robinhood, Fidelity, E-Trade, or even giants like Schwab, TD Ameritrade, and Webull. A few taps on your phone and just like that, you own a piece of Amazon. Isn't it cool? Yeah, but you need to be careful before buying stocks. Here's why. Section 6. Not all stocks are equal. There are two main types, common stock and preferred stock. Think of them like regular concert tickets versus VIP passes. Both get you in, but the experience is totally different. Common stock is what most people own. When you buy common stock, you get voting rights. That means you can vote on big company decisions. Got one share? One vote. Got a million shares? A million votes. You're basically a tiny shareholder democracy participant. You might get dividends, but they're not guaranteed. The upside? Common stocks have the highest growth potential. If the company explodes in value, your shares skyrocket. The downside is that if the company crashes and burns, you're last in line to get paid. After debts, after lawsuits, after everyone else, sometimes that means you get nothing. Preferred stock is the chill older sibling. You don't get voting rights, but you do get guaranteed dividends. And if the company goes bankrupt, you're ahead of common stockholders in line for whatever's left. It's safer, more predictable, but with less explosive growth potential. Now, beyond common and preferred stocks, there are other beginner-friendly ways to step into investing. Things like ETFs, index funds, and blue-chip stocks are often recommended for newcomers because they're simple, diversified, and don't require you to pick individual winners and losers. If you'd like me to break these down and even walk you through a step-by-step sign-up process to start investing in your first stock, let me know in the comments, and I might turn that into a whole new video. Section 7. Why bother with stocks at all? Okay, but why would anyone risk their money on this when you could just stuff it in a savings account? The two-word answer is potential growth. A savings account in 2025 might give you 1 to 2% interest per year. Cool. So your $10,000 becomes $10,200 after a year. Congrats. You can buy a few extra meals. Now let's look at the stock market. Historically, it's returned 7 to 10% per year on average over the long term. That same $10,000 could become $11,000 or more. And if you leave it there for 10 years and reinvest your gains, you could be looking at $25,000 or more. That's the power of compound growth. But here's the brutal truth. The stock market is a roller coaster. In 2023, the market surged. In 2024, it wobbled. In 2022, it dropped like a rock. Your money will go up and down, sometimes violently. And if you panic and sell at the bottom, you lock in your losses. That's why the pros say, invest for the long term. Don't try to time the market. Don't chase quick wins. Just pick companies you believe in, hold on, and let time do its thing. Section 8. The real power. Here's something wild. The stock market isn't just about numbers and profits. It's about confidence, human emotion, fear, and greed. If investors think a company is going to do well, they buy. Demand goes up. The price goes up. The company looks successful, which makes even more people want to buy. It's a snowball effect. But if people start to panic, maybe bad news drops, maybe the CEO tweets something stupid, they sell. Demand crashes, price crashes, and suddenly, a company that was worth billions is now worth half that. Nothing about the actual business changed, just people's feelings. This is why market crashes happen. In 2008, fear spread like wildfire. Everyone sold. The market collapsed. But the people who held on, they recovered. So here's the deal. Stocks aren't some mysterious rich people secret. They're just ownership, tiny slices of real businesses. And anyone, yes, you, can buy them. You don't need a finance degree. You just need to understand the basics. Buy a piece of a company you believe in. Hold it. Let it grow. Don't panic when things get bumpy. And for the love of everything, don't put all your money into one stock. That's like betting your entire life savings on one hand of poker. The stock market has created more wealth than any other system in modern history. But it also humbled plenty of people who thought they could outsmart it. So respect it, learn it, and use it wisely. Because at the end of the day, the people who get rich aren't the ones chasing hype. They're the ones who understand what they own, why they own it, and have the patience to let time work its magic. If you learned well about stocks, subscribe to us and go out there to get your slice of the cake.